Today we are going to start third chapter, that is human reproduction. In second chapter, we have learned that how sexual reproduction is taking place in plants, in flowering plants. And today we are going to learn in this chapter that how reproduction is taking place in human beings. Of course, the reproduction is sexual reproduction, where two parents are required, and the reproduction is sexual, and it is viviparous. Viviparous means that they are giving birth to the young ones. So human beings are giving birth to the young ones, and they are sexually reproducing. Now, as we have learned in second chapter that first process is formation of gametes. Similarly, here also in human beings also, the first process in the process of reproduction is formation of gametes, and this process is called gametogenesis. In case of males, it is called spermatogenesis. In case of females, it is called oogenesis. And puberty. What is puberty? Because this time when I was correcting answer books of 10th standard, many of you don't understand what puberty is. You are confused between the adolescence age and the secondary sexual characteristics and all. Puberty, the one line definition is attaining reproductive maturity. What is puberty? Puberty is attaining reproductive maturity. When a boy or a girl is reproductively mature to produce gametes and to undergo the process of reproduction, it is called puberty. He or she has attained puberty. So puberty is reproductive maturity. And the process, once the puberty is attained, the process of formation of gametes starts in the primary sexual reproductive organs. Now you get confused between the other reproductive organs which are accessory, which are assisting in the process of reproduction. The main primary reproductive organ in case of males is testes, and in case of females is ovary. So there is a pair of ovary and there is a pair of testes in case of males. The process of formation of gametes is taking place in testes and ovary, and this process is called gametogenesis. Once the gametes are ready, then starts the next process. The next event is fertilization. That is union of male gamete with female gamete to form the zygote. Now, in case of human beings, this fertilization takes place inside the female's body. And for that, the male gamete, that is sperm, has to reach inside the female's body. And that process is called insemination. The transfer of sperm into the female genital tract is called insemination. So first is formation of gametes, then insemination, and once the sperm has reached the female genital tract, then there is fertilization. After fertilization, formation of zygote, and this zygote divides mitotically into a few-celled structure which is called blastula. And this few-celled structure, that is blastula, will reach the uterus. And uterus is ready to receive this fertilized egg. Now this uterus, when it is ready to receive the fertilized egg, this fertilized egg is in the stage of blastula, comes and get implanted or fixed into the wall of the uterus. And that process is called implantation. So implantation is a process when the blastocyst comes and get itself attached with the uterine wall. That is called implantation. And then this embryo develops into the fetus inside the uterus. And once the gestation period is over, what is gestation period? Someone has. What is gestation period? Gestation period is the period which is required for the organism for the development. So for human beings, it is 40 weeks or 280 days. That is approximate. And once the fetus is ready, there is strong contractions in the wall of the uterus, and the baby is delivered, and that is called parturition. So these are the processes which happens in human reproduction. So first of all, we will see this terminology before we proceed further. Okay. So if you see the introduction of human reproduction, we can say that humans are sexually reproducing and viviparous. And the reproductive events which are taking place in human beings are gametogenesis, that is formation of gametes, sperms in case of males, and ovum in case of females. The second is insemination. What is insemination? Insemination is transfer of sperms into the female genital tract. That is called insemination. You should be familiar with all these terms before we go into the details of the human reproduction. Once the insemination is taken place, the next event which takes place is fertilization. Fertilization is fusion of male and female gametes leading to formation of zygote. Now, where is this fertilization taking place? You have learned this in class 10th. In the
female's body.
Female body, but where?
Uterus.
Inside the uterus. No.
Fallopian tube, actually.
Very good. Fallopian tube. Fallopian tube. Now in 12th standard, we will study about the different parts of fallopian tube also. So in 10th you learn that the fertilization, that is fusion of male and female gamete, is taking place in fallopian tube. It is a tube which is present below the ovary. When the ovulation takes place, the ovum comes here in the fallopian tube, and the sperm has to reach to the fallopian tube for the fertilization to take place. The fusion of male and female gametes leading to formation of zygote. Now the next is, suppose if the fertilization has taken place, because every time the ovum is released, the fertilization is not taking place. The egg is released every 28 to 35 days cycle. It depends from girl to girl. So when the egg is released, and egg is released from either of one ovary, it is all under the control of hormones. So either the left ovary or the right ovary will release one ovum in one cycle, and that cycle is of 28 days. So in that cycle, the ovum is released, and this ovum will come to the fallopian tube, and it will wait there for the sperm for fertilization. That is around 48 hours. And if that doesn't happen, if the sperm is not there, then this egg, the unfertilized egg, will go to the uterus, And every cycle, the uterus is preparing itself to receive the embryo. Every cycle, the uterus is preparing the endometrium. We will study about the layers of uterus also. So the innermost layer, that is endometrium of the uterus, in every cycle, this uterus is preparing itself for the developing embryo to come and develop in the uterus. But if that doesn't happen, the thick lining of the cushion type lining of the uterus will get damaged, will go waste. And this, with the unfertilized egg, comes out of the vagina in the form of blood and tissues. And that is called menstruation. We are going to study about menstrual cycle also. So, implantation is the term which is for the attachment of blastocyst. Now, as you told me that the fertilization is taking place in the fallopian tube. After fertilization, the zygote is formed, which is diploid in nature, and this zygote will divide mitotically. 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 16, 16 to 32, like that. And after this division, when the embryo is having around 70 to 100 cells, this condition is called blastocyst. And this blastocyst is the embryo having about 70 to 100 cells, which has developed to the point of having two different cell components and a fluid cavity. We are going to learn everything in detail in this chapter. This is just an introduction. The cell components are there and a fluid filled cavity is there. And this blastocyst will go and attach itself to the wall of the uterus, to the uterine wall. And this is called implantation. When this blastocyst go and get itself arranged to the wall of the uterus, it is called implantation. And once the implantation is done, the development of embryo starts. The embryo will start receiving nutrition from its mother through the special disc-shaped tissue called placenta. So the embryo is receiving its requirement, all its requirement, the oxygen, the nutrients from the mother's blood. And at the same time, it is giving all the waste materials, that is all the excretory products into the blood of the mother. So this all is happening through the special tissue called placenta. And gestation is the period of embryonic development inside the uterus. And gestation period is different in different organisms, different species. This period is of different time. In human, the gestation period is around 280 days or 40 weeks. And once this is over, the fetus is ready. It has attained the basic structure, because the baby, when it is delivered, it is having all the basic structures: two eyes, two hands, two legs, one nose, two ears, everything is there, only the body is small. So that after that development has taken place inside the uterus, there are strong contraction in the walls of the uterus, and that results in the labor pain. And when labor pain starts, the lady is ready to deliver the baby. And this process is called parturition. This process is called parturition. So these are the different terms which we are going to use, because these are the different events which are taking place in the human reproduction process. Clear? All these terms are clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Repeat
Ma'am,
insemination.
repeat insemination.
Repeat insemination. Okay. What is insemination? Insemination is transfer of male gamete into the female genital tract. If you remember, in flowering plants, we did pollination. What was pollination? Pollination was transfer of male gamete to the style. Similarly, here the male gamete has to be transferred, and here the male gamete has to be inserted inside the female genital tract. And this process is called insemination. Clear?
Okay,
Transfer
ma'am.
of male gametes, that is sperm, transfer of sperms into the female genital tract. That is called insemination.